Ever pondered where the rhythm and melody that fills our world originated from? Let's take a step back in time, way back to the dawn of melody, to the earliest days of humankind, where the very first sounds that could be called music were born. Prehistoric music, as it's known, was not comprised of complex symphonies or intricate harmonies, but rather a series of sounds and rhythms created to imitate the natural world. The beat of a heart, the rustle of leaves, the patter of rain, these were the first songs, the first melodies. Now imagine those early humans experimenting with those sounds and rhythms, discovering the joy of creating their own music. They used what was at their disposal: sticks, stones, bones. These were the first instruments, crude as they may have been, and with them they began to shape the sounds of the world into a form of expression, a way to communicate. But music didn't stop evolving there. As societies began to form and civilizations rose, music became more complex, more refined. In ancient Egypt, for instance, music held a place of high regard. It was integral to religious rituals and ceremonies, a way to appease the gods and bring harmony to their world. The Egyptians developed a variety of instruments like lyres and flutes, creating melodies that were more intricate and deliberate. In ancient Greece, music took on an even more profound role. It wasn't just an art form, but a field of study. The Greeks believed that music had the power to influence one's ethos, their moral character. They created complex musical scales and systems, and their theories and philosophies about music have influenced Western music for centuries. Fast forward to today, and you can still hear the echoes of these early musical traditions in the music we listen to. From the primal beats of our ancestors to the complex melodies of ancient civilizations, music has been a universal language. Whether it's the beat of a drum, the strum of a guitar, or the hum of a melody, music connects us all, transcending time, space, and culture. From the primal beats of our ancestors to the complex melodies of ancient civilizations, music has been a universal language. As we move into the Middle Ages, music begins to take a more structured form. Truly, the Middle Ages was a time of great metamorphosis for music. This was the era when notation emerged, a system to write down melodies and rhythms, giving music a physical form. Now, music could travel beyond the limit of human memory, setting it free to explore new lands and minds. Yet, the Middle Ages did not stop at merely giving music a physical form. It embarked on a journey to add dimension to the sound. This was the birth of polyphony, the practice of combining several independent melodies into one harmonic texture. Imagine, if you will, a choir of voices, each singing a different melody, yet all blending together in perfect harmony. This was the magic of polyphony, the magic of the Middle Ages. But as with all things, change was inevitable. As the Middle Ages faded into history, a new era dawned, the Renaissance. A period of rebirth, the Renaissance was a time of great innovation and creativity, and music was no exception. The Renaissance saw the advent of printing, a technological marvel that forever changed the landscape of music. Now music could be printed and distributed, reaching out to the masses. It was no longer confined to the sacred halls of the church or the opulent courts of the nobility. Music was now for everyone. It spread like wildfire, igniting a passion for melody and harmony in every heart it touched. This was also a time when music began to take on a more personal touch. Composers started to express their own feelings and thoughts in their compositions, giving birth to the concept of individualism in music. All these revolutionary changes transformed the world of music, shaping it into the diverse and vibrant tapestry we know today. The Middle Ages and the Renaissance era brought revolutionary changes and spread music far and wide. The Baroque era introduced us to some of the greatest composers in history. This period, spanning from the early 17th to mid-18th century, was a time of grandeur and ornamental intricacy, reflected beautifully in the compositions of Johann Sebastian Bach and Georg Friedrich Handel. Bach, a prolific German composer and musician, gave us a wealth of music, from the Brandenburg concertos to the St. Matthew Passion, that still resonates with audiences today. Handel, another German composer but who made his mark in England, is best known for his work Messiah. His music, filled with dramatic flair and rich textures, is a testament to the grandeur of the Baroque era. As the Baroque era faded, the classical period emerged, bringing with it a new sense of simplicity and balance. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and Ludwig van Beethoven were at the forefront of this era. Mozart, a prodigy from a young age, composed over 600 works in his short life, including the iconic Symphony No. 40 and The Marriage of Figaro. Beethoven, a titan of music, pushed the boundaries of the era, carving the path towards Romanticism with works like Symphony No. 5 and the Moonlight Sonata. The Romantic era, which followed the Classical, was a time of emotional intensity and expansive creativity. Frédéric Chopin, a Polish composer, is celebrated for his emotive piano compositions such as the Nocturnes and the Ballades. Richard Wagner, a German composer known for his operas, introduced a concept called Gesamtkunstwerk, or total work of art, blending music, poetry, visual arts and stagecraft in his Ring cycle. These eras gave us composers whose works continue to inspire and captivate us. Their music, a reflection of the times they lived in, provides us with a rich tapestry of human emotion and creativity, revealing the power of music to transcend time and touch hearts across generations. The 20th century brought about a seismic shift in music, as it did in all other aspects of life. Imagine a world where sound could suddenly be captured, stored, and replayed. This was the reality of the early 20th century, when technology began to play a pivotal role in music. The phonograph, the radio, and later the television transformed the way music was produced and consumed. No longer was music confined to concert halls and parlors. It was now accessible to everyone, everywhere. And with this accessibility came a blossoming of musical genres. Jazz, born out of African-American communities in the South, tapped into the vibrant, improvisational spirit of a new era. It was raw, emotional, and deeply human. Then came rock and roll, a rebellious child of the mid-20th century. It was a genre that spoke to the youth, challenging societal norms and sparking a cultural revolution. Its impact was monumental, forever changing the face of music. Popular music didn't stop there. As the century progressed, pop music burst onto the scene, a genre as diverse as the people it entertained. From the catchy tunes of the Beatles to the anthems of Madonna, pop music was everywhere. But the 20th century wasn't just about Western music. The world was shrinking, and music was at the forefront of this global convergence. African rhythms influenced Latin music, Indian melodies seeped into pop songs, and Asian pop culture made waves worldwide. The end of the century heralded the arrival of the digital age, and with it, a whole new way to experience music. CDs replaced vinyl, and soon after, digital downloads and streaming services made music more accessible than ever before. The past century has seen music evolve at an unprecedented pace, touching every corner of the globe. It's a testament to the power of music, its ability to adapt, transform, and most importantly, to connect us all, no matter where we are in the world. In the present day, music is more